glass bead gel. This is an acrylic medium. It can be mixed in, put on top of, or go underneath acrylic paints. You can also use it in mixed media applications as well. It has this absolutely unique reflective quality to it, and I want to show you how to get it just right. Let's take a look at glass bead gel on some different surfaces and different ways to use it. This first surface I'm applying it to is a three-dimensional surface, so the light will catch in different ways. I'm going to apply with a brush, so this will be a more sporadic and not necessarily a full coverage piece. This will dry clear and not milky white. Once it's dry, it'll have a glossy sheen, and at just the right angle or with a flash, the reflection will pop. These reflections are amazing. Now let's trowel it on. This is a surface that has already been painted with acrylics. It's dry. I'm going to squeeze on the glass bead gel or scoop it out of the container depending on the size that you have. And I'm going to use a nice wide trowel and just pull at a 45-degree angle. Trowels are my favorite way to apply glass bead gel. It gives you a very even coat. The goal here is to have them all organized and flat against the surface. This is going to give you the absolute best reflection. Bright, light, or high key colors are going to give you the most wowing pops when that flash or edge of light hits. Here it is dry, and with the flash, bam, there it is. Now I'm going to use a painting knife to apply the glass bead gel. You have to be very careful that the angle is just right, or it will pick up little beads and drag them along, creating skid marks through the piece. It can be annoying for larger applications. Painting knives are good for control over exactly where that gel medium is going, and can be used for a larger application as well. They just take a little bit more time. Once this is dry, it's going to have a high gloss finish and a textural quality to it. And of course, that sheen at just the right angle. Glass bead gel also has mixed media applications. Here I'm going to put it on cyanotype. This is a paper that I'm brushing it onto. Again, brushing it is going to give it more of a sporadic look instead of an even coverage. So I'm just going to put it in a few of these white spaces along the edge of the cliffs, let that dry so we can see what the effect is. Here, with the glass beads separated, they look like little snowflakes or stars. The gel that the glass beads are in does leave a sheen behind, in between the beads. The reflection is on point. What do glass beads look like on alcohol ink? Well, they do still have that awesome reflective quality, but the gel, while it's wet, can re-wet your alcohol inks, I discovered as I was putting this down. Some of that pink picked up and moved just a little bit. It wasn't intense, so I will say that I do think that you can use this as long as you are mindful that it can re-wet and don't overwork an area. I'm going to trowel this out, get a nice even coat, let it dry, and here's the result. It actually knocked down the sheen from the alcohol inks and left a cool texture behind. Pee-wee wants to know how stencils work with glass bead gel. Well, let's trowel some on and find out. I'm going to use my catalyst tool to apply the glass bead gel across my stencil. And once I pick the stencil up, in this case, I noticed some of the alcohol ink on my stencil had re-wet, since we just found out that that happens with glass bead gel. Overall, a pretty cool effect. Now let's put it on watercolor. Yeah, that's right. I varnished this watercolor with cold wax medium that isolates it and keeps it protected from moving with any other application on top. And I'm applying the glass bead gel with my finger, which gives me ultimate control over exactly where those beads go and having a nice thin layer. The end result, the gel does dry to a glossy finish, but the reflection is there, and it's so cool to see these pop at just the right angle. This is a mixed media piece that I applied the glass beads to, And now that they're dry, I'm actually going to apply some paint over top. If you're going to paint over glass beads, use a thin or light-bodied acrylic, something like a high flow or fluid acrylic. You don't want the thick stuff, otherwise you won't be able to see that cool texture. Here I'm going to flood the dried gel with some water first. This is going to let the wash of color that I add just float around, kind of like a watercolor almost. You can see it just spread immediately. Using water and a very thin wash ensures that I'm going to be able to see the images underneath. But you can use acrylics at their full opacity and just have this be this amazing texture with a sheen to it, mind you, because this does dry to a glossy finish. Pee-wee likes it, and if you did too, hit that subscribe button and we'll check out some more cool art supplies and unique processes along the way.